You're farther away from God than you think you are. Voice cracked a little bit, my bad. But yesterday, I want to start out this video by saying yesterday I had a conversation with 5 people at a coffee shop, and they were all from different religions. One of them was a Muslim. How's it going?
How's it going?
We had a great conversation about like what my beliefs are, my faith. And one of my beliefs in my faith, it's called Vaishnavism, is that you're supposed to be a vegetarian. And it's an empathetic belief. And he had a good point, because I'm not the most educated about my faith. You'd have to ask one of my like spiritual leaders or gurus why we do certain things and why we don't do certain things. But he asked me why we eat vegetables, because they're like, part, like they're conscious, plants are conscious. They're not as conscious as an animal would be, and that's, part of like the gradation of it. Like there's levels to what is more conscious. And I told him that's why we don't eat animals in my faith, and why, and how it says in the Bhagavad Gita how we're able to offer plants to God before you eat them, but you can't offer meat, and it's like dead energy. And he told me that just because of that reason, he would never be a part of my faith, and I never expected him to be. Muslims are very committed to their faith, and the conversation wasn't about him trying to be a part of my faith. We were just talking about what we believe. So when I first started believing in God, I had a lot of like beliefs like that were similar like that. I never wanted to give up eating meat to begin with, and like that was selfish reasons, just because like I didn't, I like the taste of meat, and I'm like, human. That's very human to want to eat meat. One thing I realized in that conversation was how far away we are from God and the truth about God because of things that we enjoy and our lack of optimism to learning more. And like I'm not gonna say that that's the best scenario to bring someone closer to the truth, but like I don't believe that it had anything to do with him just being a Muslim. I believe that people feel that way regardless, like about not wanting to take on a certain thing or believe a certain thing because of their optimism and because they would rather be comfortable doing the things they like to do. Like for instance, eating meat. I think that's like a great example of how it isn't pure, and a lot of the times like there might be more ethical ways that people are, treating the animals before they kill them. But realistically, most of the time people are eating meat, it's coming from a slaughterhouse, and it's just unethical, and we know that isn't close to God. Basically, my point is that giving up your ego is just the beginning of your pathway truly to God. Because a lot of people think they're making progression, but their day-to-day lives are living for themselves and not for God. And they don't understand that there's things that they're doing that they won't give up that can't be offered to God. And there are pure, like, in your day-to-day, your actions should be offered to God, because that is why we're here, Like, how are we ever going to truly come into connection if we're not offering what we're doing to Him? And I noticed this when I was in Thailand, because my thoughts were clear because of what I was eating, the people I was around, the knowledge they had. For the first time in my life, I was there for 2 weeks, right? And for the first time in my life, I felt like I made real progression for what's after this life, because I was actually living day to day, thinking about God nonstop. And those people there that are truly devoting their life to God, they do that every day for years. And so they actually have like real progress and connection to God. And we are living in this trap of every day we wake up, it's like, what can I do for myself to elevate my status and what I want to like taste, what makes me comfortable. And it's setting us behind. Like there is karma tied to the actions we make. Like eating meat, like that is unethical. Like there is repercussions to taking part in something like purchasing something that is funding a slaughterhouse and killing animals unethically. And we can act like it's not a big deal because it doesn't impact us, but there is something going on beyond us. And so learning what can be offered to God and what is actually truly ethical is just the beginning of your pathway and actual progression. And right now you're actually setting yourself back. And I believe in reincarnation and, you know, your soul's timeline in the material world. So you'll be born again in another body. And until you figure out how to connect with God properly and you truly, you know, learn how to worship God, you will be stuck in the material world until you know, accomplish what you need to, and then your soul is connected with God and you get back to God, which would be the spiritual world. And a lot of this information might be heavy, but that's why I made this channel. There's a lot of information we have in this life to get closer to God, and you just have to search for it. We don't know it, and it's not easily available because it's like the journey of what we actually need to get to. Like you think about, you know, like a TV show like Pokemon or something, right? And it's sorry, the camera's getting blurry and there's bugs on it. The journey of somebody like Ash from the show Pokemon. He has to go through all these obstacles to become a champion, right? Like, why would attaining information about the purest thing in life be so easy when, like, the challenge is neglecting ignorance? And people don't think like this. Like, they don't understand that, like, they are stuck in the trap of temptations. Meat would be one of them. Sex is one of them. Lust. There's plenty of temptations. And like that is the obstacle, is actually abstaining consistently and finding information that's pure. Like what can I read that will make me think about God more? And like what knowledge is there? Like just like how if you're a video editor and you learn a certain effect, how you're a better editor, that would be attaining information that makes you think about God clearer. So there's a large gradation of what is pure, and, you know, limiting, like the true progression towards God is not limiting yourself to information when it's presented to you. And so when somebody like I'm in a conversation at that cafe and he neglects morality, what I believe is like basic morality, he says like he wants to eat meat and he would never join my faith because of that. His lack of optimism to understanding the purity of not taking a soul away from its body and letting that life live. It's ignorance. Like there is ignorance in that, and you know, people learn on their own pathways, and I don't judge them. I wasn't upset at him for it, but I just like acknowledging it and sharing that story, so then maybe you can grow more in that scenario. And that's why, you know, like I believe there are set things that are better than others, but like routine in religion will and lack of optimism will kill your actual connection to God. And so what I believe in is like you're never limiting God, and if you're never limiting God, you have full optimism, so you're able to, you know, listen to people's point of views and maybe take it in and actually progress instead of thinking you know the full truth, and, you know, being limited because of that, because our souls aren't limited. And that knowledge of knowing that God is infinite and that there's always more information to learn will limit you beyond the scripture that you're reading. And, you know, there's a quote I read recently that was like, maybe I could pull it up real quick. Anyone who tries to discover what religion is simply by reading the scriptures will become crazy. It's a great quote from one of my gurus. Posted it. And if, you know, you can live in the routine and the information you've been revealed, but realistically, God is infinite, and you don't know everything about God. And you might have had revealed truths, but limiting God to Scripture is ignorance. And yeah, there's more ways to connect with God, and there's better ways to live than the way you are living right now, most likely. And, you know, I believe I've been revealed some good information, but it doesn't mean I believe I've been revealed everything. You know, I know there's still stuff I need to learn in this life. And so that's why I don't judge people. Like when I believe I've been revealed a mistake, or revealed a truth, and I see the mistake. Like, I don't judge somebody for following the things that I believe that are immoral, but I just pray that they can come closer and understand, like, think about things more empathetically. Sometimes I don't like using that word because, like, it's cringe. Like, everyone always uses it, but I'm an empath. I don't know. Maybe I'm yapping. The goal of this channel is to talk about something every day for this channel. But I believe I have a lot of information that can, benefit people's souls. And another reason you shouldn't limit yourself to more information and knowledge, and you shouldn't shut it down, is because, when you're revealed more information and it, like, it's morally seems right, it will open more future scenarios for how you look at things, and you'll see them clear. And so, like, a lot of people think they have right intentionality, and so, like, they think that, like, they're loving God, like, they think about God, like, they say they care about God, but they don't take the time to learn more. And that mindset is sinning, because it's living for yourself and thinking you already know all the answers. And we don't know all the answers. Hopefully I can progress in the skill of articulating myself better every day in these videos. I hope what I'm saying resonates in some form. But the goal of this channel is to yap and to progress. I hope I don't kill these bugs. Hare Krishna. Yeah, so me and my buddy were talking about this conversation before I started filming. And one thing, when I explained it to him, he said, yeah, you think you're doing something is right, but it's not, because your entire worldview is flawed. And that's how a lot of people live their life. Like, they weren't taught empathetic, empathetic beliefs that are not limiting God. They were taught limiting beliefs that are worshiping themselves and making their life easier and better. And it's not the real way to go, but based on what I believe. But what do I know? I'm limited. I've just been graced with information that I believe is loving. And I know a lot of people feel this way about God. There's a lot of people who don't choose a religion because they just care about God, and that's how I feel. I believe that there's scripture that God revealed to us, and there's truth in every religion, but there's even more to learn because God is infinite. And so we're farther away from God than we think we are. And so when you wake up every day, that should be your quest. Like, what can I learn about God? Where can I find this information? And is it tainted information? Is it living for myself, really? And is it unethical? If you have any questions or want to ask me what I believe about God, let me know in the comments, because this is why I made the channel, is to bring you closer. And hopefully the channel goes somewhere, but I'm patient, and I have my main channel, so it's in the description if you guys want to check that out. That one's growing. But I want this one to grow even more, because this is just me talking, not really edited. This is like my true self and what I believe. Anyways, subscribe. Also, look at this dope ass jacket, bro. Like, Adidas. I don't know if you can see it. You can't see anything. Alright, whatever. Bye.